Hi, I'm Ashley, and I accidentally killed my chinchilla when I was just 15 years old. Hi you guys, welcome to my channel. On this channel, I will be telling you guys stories of my life. Now, I didn't have a hard life, but I did have a very funny life, and some stuff happened in my life that I feel like is actually very unique. So I am here on this channel to tell stories of them and pretty much just laugh at myself because I think everything that happened is just so funny and like, what? But anyways, today is the story of how I accidentally killed my chinchilla when I was 15. If you like these kind of stories, just go ahead and subscribe. More are to come, I promise. There's going to be a lot about going through school, sports, just things that happened to me growing up. But I hope you guys enjoy. I don't know what else to say. So, when I was 15, I was actually a junior in high school, and I had a friend. She actually found a chinchilla. If you guys don't know what a chinchilla is, it's a mixture. I like to say it's like a cute little, what are they, gerbils? What is this? A hamster? I don't even know what they are. It's a mixture of like a rat, guinea pig, and a squirrel. I know it's really weird sounding, but they're actually really cute. I'm gonna insert a picture right here. I went over to my friend's house and she had a chinchilla, and I was like, oh my gosh, that thing is so cute. What is it? And she's like, it's a chinchilla. And I actually rescued her, or I think it was a boy. I actually rescued him, and he's actually looking for a home. So I was like, oh my goodness, let me ask my mom if I can have a chinchilla, because I would love to have a chinchilla. The only pet that I've had up to that point was a fish, and that fish had died years ago. So I was like so ready to have a pet. I was like, I want that chinchilla so bad. So I asked my mom, and she was very skeptical. She's like, are you gonna take care of it? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Mom, it's gonna be in my room. I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna do everything for it. You don't have to worry. So my mom eventually agreed, and that is how I ended up with a cute chinchilla. I was 15, so I named him Fluffy. And he was my everything. I loved him. I would go to school and come back, and then I'd go play with him. And my friend had told me that this chinchilla was afraid of humans. I guess this chinchilla had been either abused or just kind of neglected. And so I was like, I'm up for this challenge. I'm gonna help this chinchilla find his best life. I had a huge cage for him. I made a cage. I made his bed all the time, and I loved him so much. I remember I would always try so hard every day to feed him snacks so that he would come to me and I would be able to pet him, and it took months for him to be able to trust me, and I would let him out of his cage. He would run around in my room, and I remember I bought one of those hand vacuums because chinchillas just poop everywhere they go, little pellets, kind of like rabbits. So then I would just vacuum all his poop all the time. It's so crazy. And then I would just put him back in the cage and then repeat and stuff like that. There were two things that were unique to chinchillas. First was that they could not get wet. They took dust baths, and they were the coolest things ever. It was literally a tiny little box, or I actually bought him a little house with a little hole in it. I would fill it up with some clean dust. He would go in there and roll around in dust, and that would be his bath. And I would do that like every few days, and then he would be clean. And I thought that was so cool because I didn't have to shower my animal. He literally did that by himself, and I loved watching that. Second thing that was unique was that they couldn't be in temperatures over like 70 or 80 degrees. They did not do well in heat. In fact, they did not do in heat. Okay, so this was back in 2010. I didn't even mention, but this was in 2010, and temperature was good because I live in Southern California. It didn't get too hot, it didn't get too cold, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And I had my AC on, and I would make sure that he wouldn't be too hot, and I didn't want him to die. And then comes sometime in September. I remember that year we had a huge heat wave out of nowhere. Wait a minute, I totally forgot a big part. I think I had him for like 6 or 7 months by now. And geez, this is so sad. I'm sorry, Fluffy. Okay, so we made it through the summer, and then at the end of the summer, probably in August, my AC just like broke. My air conditioning in my room just no longer worked, and I was so worried. I kept the fan on for Fluffy, and I was making sure that he was okay every time I could check on him, and I was like, okay, Fluffy, you're fine, everything's good, like, we're making it through this summer. And then September comes and we had this massive heat wave in Southern California. I do not know if you guys remember this, if you guys live with me here. It was 114 degrees on a specific September day, and I have no idea why it was 114 degrees, but that was the day that Fluffy died. Before I get ahead of myself, that day, it was like a weekend or something, and I had time to play with Fluffy. I brought him out of his cage, we ran around, and then something I learned about chinchillas was that it was good to keep him in a very small enclosed space. So I would play with him in my bathroom. It was small, I could see everywhere he went, and it was okay. And so that day, I brought him to the bathroom, we played, I took a few pictures with him, and I was just being my cute little 15-year-old self with my chinchilla. Again, I was in love with Fluffy, okay? He was my baby. And I played with him and I was getting sweaty, so I was like, okay, Fluffy, it's time to go back into your cage. He went back to his cage, and I had left him in there again with my fan on, and I tried everything I could. At 15 years old, I didn't know. Anyways, I feel so bad to be telling this story because, like, damn, who in their right mind would let their 15-year-old just take care of the chinchilla? But I guess, you know, it is whatever. Lessons learned. And I had left that afternoon after playing with him to go, I don't know, do some yard work or help my parents outside and stuff like that. And I come back into my room and Fluffy, I can't even say his name. Oh my god. I came back into my room and then Fluffy was just laying in his cage, not moving. And I was like, Fluffy? And I just ran to his cage and I was like, Fluffy? Fluffy! And then I was just like, I didn't touch him because I'm just afraid of like dead things, and but then I shook his cage and he wasn't moving, and then I freaked out so hard and I was like, Mom, Dad, help, Fluffy's not moving. And then, oh, poor baby, he didn't move. And then my parents came back to me and they told me that Fluffy is gone. And I was so sad. I was just crying my eyes out so hard. Later on that night, my dad came in, grabbed Fluffy by his tail, and threw him in the trash. Yeah. And I am so sorry that that happened to Fluffy because I learned of a very cool trick years later when someone I knew had a ferret, and they just got a frozen water bottle and put that in their cage or underneath their cage, underneath some like a tissue or like a towel, and they can just chill by that frozen water bottle to keep cool. And if I would have known, Fluffy could have still been there for a few more years. But poor Fluffy died of heat exhaustion. And that was really sad. But that is a story of how I accidentally killed my chinchilla at 15 years old. I did not expect it. I was just playing with him that day and I had the best day with him. I even posted on Facebook. I was like, oh, I just had an amazing day with Fluffy, etc., etc. And then later on, I had to post Fluffy is gone post, and I'm so sorry to that chinchilla. Honestly though, you guys, like, chinchillas are awesome pets. They are very self-cleansing, self-bathing, and all they need is a little space to run around and you can just take them out of the cage, and they're kind of like little dogs. It's kind of cute. I actually trained my Fluffy to, like, I don't know, to come to me from treats. I don't even know, but I remember this was 10 years ago now, you guys. And I'm coming onto YouTube to admit my fault at 15 years old. And I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt him. I promise. I just meant to love him. And I'm just, that stupid heat wave in California. Thanks for watching, you guys. If you guys enjoyed my story time, please like this video. And if you guys want to hear more from me, please subscribe to my channel. I promise I'll be coming out with more videos and more fun things about my life and just a lot of story times, because I feel like there's so much to laugh about that happened in my life. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much. Bye.